People think they understand mental strength. They imagine someone unbothered, ruthless, untouchable. But psychology suggests something stranger. The strongest mind in the room is often the one that feels everything and still doesn't move the way people expect. If you've ever been called too sensitive, too intense, or too quiet, you're not weak. You might actually be on the path to a kind of strength that quietly scares people, because it cannot be controlled the way they're used to. Think about this for a moment. Most of us were never taught how to build a strong mind. We were taught how to behave, how to keep the peace, how to avoid upsetting anyone. So we bend, we fawn, we stay silent, we over-explain. And inside, our mind becomes a crowded room of other people's expectations. Loud, confusing, exhausting. A mind like that doesn't break because it's weak. It breaks because it has never been allowed to be its own. Here's the strange thing. Research on something called psychological flexibility shows that resilience isn't about being fearless or positive all the time. It's about the ability to stay with your experience, thoughts, emotions, sensations, without immediately running from it or attacking it, and then still choosing what actually matters to you. People who score higher on this kind of flexibility feel pain, doubt, and fear just like everyone else. They just don't automatically obey those feelings. That's the foundation of a mind that quietly unsettles others. It stops being easily steered by guilt, pressure, or fear of rejection. Maybe this is familiar. You grew up learning that your safety depended on keeping others comfortable. A raised voice meant danger. A disappointed look meant you were too much or not enough. So you became hyper-attuned. You apologize for existing. You replay every conversation in your head. You say it's fine when it isn't, because the idea of conflict feels unbearable. On the outside, you look agreeable. On the inside, you feel like you're walking on shards of glass barefoot every day. A mind so strong it scares people doesn't start from power. It often starts right here, in the quiet, private moments where you're tired of betraying yourself just to keep the world calm. Psychology has another simple idea. The way we interpret what happens to us shapes how we feel far more than the event itself. This is sometimes called reappraisal. Two people can experience the same rejection. One tells themselves, "This proves I'm worthless." The other, eventually, learns to say, "This hurts, but it's not the whole story of who I am." The event is the same. The inner meaning is different. The second person is not less sensitive. They've just started to hold the pen that writes the meaning. A mind that scares people isn't numb. It's a mind that slowly, patiently takes back that pen. Imagine an argument. Someone raises their voice at you, accusing, blaming. In the past, maybe you'd collapse into apology or explode in return, desperate to prove your side. Now picture something else. You feel your heart racing, your jaw tightening, your urge to defend. You notice it. You breathe. You let a few seconds exist between their words and your response. You say less. You don't beg to be seen. You don't attack back. You stand in what you know is true for you, even if they refuse to understand. On the outside, it looks like calm. On the inside, it feels like a small revolution. To someone who's used to controlling you with anger, guilt, or silent treatment, that calm is unsettling. They may say you've changed, become cold, selfish, arrogant. But what truly scares them is that your mind is no longer easily moved by their storms. Philosophers like the Stoics talked about this long before psychology had words for it. We don't control what happens, only how we relate to it. That sounds simple, almost cliché, until you live it. Because to actually live it, you have to let go of the fantasy that if you're perfect enough, agreeable enough, loving enough, you'll never be hurt, abandoned, or misunderstood. A strong mind accepts a terrifying truth. I can do everything right and still lose people, and I will still not abandon myself. This is where strength and loneliness often meet. As you stop softening yourself to keep certain relationships alive, some of them will wither. You stop laughing at jokes that cut you. You stop explaining your boundaries like they're crimes. You stop chasing after those who show you over and over that they are not willing to meet you. And that is often when people start to be afraid of you. Not because you've become cruel, but because your mind is no longer easily moved by their storms. A mind so strong it scares people isn't a mind without tears. It still has nights of overthinking, moments of doubt, waves of grief. It just no longer treats those experiences as commands. It listens to fear, but doesn't worship it. It honors sadness, but doesn't build a home only there. It feels anger, but doesn't let it pick every fight. It keeps coming back to a quiet question. What kind of person do I want to be in this moment, even with this pain? If this resonates with you, there's a good chance you're already building this kind of mind slowly. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you let someone be disappointed in you without rushing to fix it, every time you tell yourself gently, I am allowed to exist as I am, even if they don't understand. These are tiny, private acts of courage. They rarely look impressive from the outside, but over time, they turn a frightened mind into one that stands on its own feet. Not invincible, but unowned. Have you felt this shift in yourself? This quiet refusal to abandon who you are? If you'd like to keep exploring your inner world with me, you're welcome to subscribe and stay. You don't have to do this work alone.